Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from group RAS 1202A for the subject ELC 151. Right now, we will have a discussion about the biggest challenges for the students who are taking online classes. Before we start our discussion, we will introduce ourselves first. As the candidate A, my name is KHAIRUNNISA binti KAMARUZAMAN and my metric number is 2020817712.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is ADIBAH binti Abdul Hakim. My metric number is 2020827488 and I'm candidate B.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm candidate C and my name is NURUL binti HUSSAIN. My metric number is 2020603822.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is IRYANI binti Muhammad ZAWAWI. My metric number is 20262581. I candidate D.
So now we will start our discussion in 3, 2, 1. Nowadays, the case of COVID-19 is getting increased and there is no indication that the spread of COVID-19 to be stopped. This increasing gives big challenges to the students which can affect their studies. So, in my opinion, one of the biggest challenges for the students is to deal with distractions. Distraction is defined as a thing that prevents someone from concentrating on something else. The thing that mostly distracts the students is social media. Social media is such a big influence nowadays. Since the spread of COVID-19 and lockdown, social media has been an option in enjoying their free time. However, this habit has been worse because the students now have to use the smartphone, laptop, and other technology applications that have social media for online classes. So the percentage of them getting distracted by social media is higher than before the pandemic happens. This is because they can get distracted by social media when the notification is keep popping up during the classes. Even they are not open the social media to look up the notification, but their minds and focus already lost when they hear the notification sound. So as a conclusion to my point, during this pandemic, dealing with distraction is the biggest challenge for the students in order to study. Don't you agree with me, candidate B?
Yes, I agree with you. Most of the students have their own social media. Even I am student myself agree that social media always distract me and making me hard to focus during class. In addition, for me, I think staring at the screen for too long also a challenge. A challenge for students during this method of learning. Often known that if a person staring at the screen for too long, they will experience eye problem, for example, like eye strain. This is the most prevailing eye problem out of all. It will affect our productivity, like having a messed sleep schedule, which will lead to difficulty focusing during class. Other than that, by sitting in front of the screen for too long also will affect our body's metabolism. Because when we sit in front of the screen, we don't move too much. And this will lead to have problems like obesity or diabetes. I think it is clear that the more hours we spend online, the more likely it is the student will experience all of this problem. Have you ever experienced something like this before? Is it relevant to you that most of the student has experiencing this problem?
Yes, you are certainly correct to say that, and I've been experiencing the same thing because lately I found myself very sick to stay on screen more than 2 hours per day. Therefore, it is somewhat relevant to me that most of the students are experiencing those right now. However, what about sharing devices with family members? I think this might be a challenge for most students too. Especially those with big families are more likely to have this problem because of the lack of devices at home. And plus, students who are less fortunate and not well funded to earn their own devices for online learning. Even though there is an alternative by the government by lowering some devices price for B40 students. It seems a bit helpful, yet not everyone can buy it. Unlike in New York, where devices are distributed to students by schools and private companies, ensuring they have access to learning materials. On the other hand, when we look at our country still dealing with many cases involving these devices until today, schools remain closed, meaning that many students will be left in a bad spot where they are unable to receive an education properly. Due to this factor, I believe that it is the biggest challenge for students during home learning programs. So, what do you think, candidate D? Do you agree with me?
Yes, exactly, Aisha. From my own view, some students also experiencing poor internet connection during the online learning. This problem is focusing on students who are living in rural areas and remote community with the lack of high-speed internet. When it comes to online learning, they might face a big problem to join the virtual classes, such as Google Meet, Zoom, and so on. For some students, they are struggling to try again until they can join the class. But it's not the end of this problem. The class, we literally might have some activity to do with the lecturer and our friend also. So I used to flashback my experience when I have to present in front of my lecturer and my classmates during the online classes. The absence of poor connection forced me to leave the meeting in all of a sudden. So this situation probably shows that it leads to contribute students falling behind in academic or online learning. Instead of students likely to often absent in the virtual classes, they might also have potential to fail on certain subjects. Do you guys agree with me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Out of all these problems we have discussed, I think the biggest challenge it is experiencing a poor internet connection. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Yes, I agree with
Yes.
you.
Alright, if that's so, we all agree that experiencing a poor internet connection is the biggest challenge for students who are taking online classes. Is there anything else other candidates would like to add?
No.
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 If not, I will end the discussion. Thank you very much for your cooperation.